The moment Ava Su poured toilet bowl cleaner into the chicken soup I'd spent hours simmering, the comments appeared. They shimmered in the air in front of me, translucent lines of text like a glitch in a live stream overlay. Using toilet cleaner like it's just vinegar. Classic Ava move, though. Fun fact, vinegar usually doesn't live in the bathroom. Breaking Bad meets invincible hero energy. Iconic pairing, right? Does anyone feel bad for the side character? She tries to fix everything, yet nobody notices. Honestly, I'd turn villain too. And in that moment, I realized the truth. I was the side character doomed to villainy in this saccharine romance. The bitter, universally disliked one. According to the narrative unfolding before me, my next step should have been tossing the soup and whipping up a quick, bland batch of noodles, serving it with an eager smile as if I were patching over Ava's mistake. The payoff?
Scorn.
Who wants noodles? I only eat the soup Ava made, someone would scoff. If I tried to protest that she'd poisoned it, no one would believe me. Why are you so dramatic? I'd eat anything Ava made, even if it had poison. Meanwhile, Ava's wide-eyed innocence would make her seem hurt. I just added a touch of vinegar. Why would you say something mean about me? But now, watching it all play out in front of me, I didn't reach for the pot. If the supposed heroes of this story had such adventurous taste buds, who was I, the designated villain, to intervene? Shouldn't you, check the label? I walked back into the kitchen carrying a colander of fresh vegetables, just in time to witness Ava tipping an entire bottle of generic toilet cleaner into my golden chicken stock. Mark, the field producer assigned to her, hovered nearby like a live wire, practically vibrating with panic. Ava, seriously, read the label, he begged, voice trembling. Just take a second and read it. But Ava was lost in her creative process, humming a slightly off-key tune as she emptied the 16-ounce bottle into the pot. When finished, she tossed the empty container aside, gave the soup a lazy stir, and blinked at Mark with her huge, innocent eyes. It's white vinegar, she chirped. Soup needs a little tang to be really delicious. I searched everywhere for it. I hope everyone loves my chicken soup. It must have taken her forever to drag that bottle from the bathroom pantry to the kitchen. I didn't even have the energy to mentally catalog her complete inability to navigate basic life tasks. She couldn't see Mark's growing horror. Instead, she beamed at me, gesturing to the soup as though it were a masterpiece. Nina, look, isn't it perfect? I knew I had a knack for this. I stared at the pot, now radiating a faintly chemical, fake citrus smell, and silently prayed I was hallucinating. Correcting her on the I made it claim felt too exhausting. We were filming Heartland Harvest, one of those slow-burn reality shows where influencers and celebrities swap city life for the countryside, supposedly surviving off the land. That chicken had been earned by our 4 celebrity males after a grueling afternoon of shucking corn. Ava and I were the 2 influencer chefs, responsible for keeping everyone fed. Only one of us could hold the title of head chef. In the first week, an online poll had crowned me the head. Ava was my sous chef. Moving forward, the role would be determined by who's cooking the 4 permanent male cast members and any guest stars preferred. To be clear, every step of that soup had been mine. Killing and plucking the chicken, simmering the stock, prepping the vegetables. Ava was the liability I could least afford. My only request, stay out of my way. For a while she complied. But one lapse, one moment of inattention, and she slipped in. A bottle of toilet cleaner and a quick stir later, the soup was hers. She'd always been this confident. Yet none of that mattered now. I opened my eyes. The soup was ruined. I sighed, grabbing pot holders to haul the Dutch oven to the sink. My mind raced for a solution. What could I salvage? She was my parents' charity case, sponsored since middle school, living with us and apprenticing at our family restaurant. I was used to cleaning up after her. But the comments flickered back. LMAO, toilet cleaner instead of vinegar. Ava never fails. Fun tip. Vinegar stays in the kitchen, not the bathroom, and definitely not in soup. A heroine with 0 life skills is adorable. The producer is having a meltdown, but she's blissfully poisoning everyone. For a moment, I thought the stress was making me hallucinate. I closed my eyes tightly, then opened them again. The comments hadn't vanished. In fact, there were more of them now. They don't call her the Breaking Bad of cooking for nothing. She can turn any ordinary meal into a weapon. The best part? The guys will eat anything she serves without flinching. Not only do they survive, they actually praise her improvements. LOL, If the male leads weren't practically tanks, this would turn from a sweet romance into a true crime show real quick. Poisonous heroine x Iron Stomach heroes. Match made in heaven. Brace yourself. Side character is about to whip up bland noodles to impress the guys, drop some passive-aggressive comments about the heroine, and get totally shut down. Can't wait. Does anyone feel bad for the side character? She's always trying to save the day, yet everyone shits on her. Then the online audience cancels her. The family restaurant tanks, who wouldn't snap? Feeling bad for the side character is ridiculous. If she goes evil over a few things, she probably wasn't that good to begin with. The pot holders slipped from my hands with a quiet clatter. I stared blankly, my thoughts spiraling. I was about to make noodles, the only thing possible with the ingredients on hand. And yes, part of me wanted the male cast to be impressed. A misstep could damage my family restaurant and tarnish my online reputation. But shading Ava? Absolutely not. Her culinary disaster spoke for itself. If anything, I had always covered for her, masking the extent of her incompetence. She was, after all, an apprentice from my family's restaurant. Her failures reflected on all of us. I am Nina Zhou. My family owns Zhou's, a restaurant with generations of history. My grandfather and father cooked for state dinners and even catered for Olympic athletes. Besides being a chef, I am an influencer with over 30 million followers, sharing recipes and preserving our culinary legacy. So yes, my performance mattered. But the floating comments made it clear, it didn't matter what I did. I was destined to be cancelled, to watch our restaurant crumble, to lose it all. Because I was trapped in a cheesy romance novel called It's Okay If It Tastes Like Poison, Love Has Numbed Our Tongues. Ava Su was the protagonist. Sweet, clumsy, oblivious, yet able to poison without consequence, and 4 powerful men adored her. With their help, she would conquer every obstacle, claim my family's restaurant, and rise as the top online chef. And me, Nina Zhou, the villainous side character. My sole purpose was to be scorned, to show off her perfection, to fail. I was destined to lose everything, ending poor and alone. The weight of that realization hit me hard. My family's restaurant had thrived for a century, known across the globe. I would not let it be destroyed. I took a deep breath and tore my gaze away from the toxic mess, pretending I hadn't noticed a thing. I faced Ava with a carefully neutral expression. What did you put in the soup? Ava blinked, completely innocent. White vinegar. Oh, I said, nodding as if it were the most normal answer. I turned away and began prepping my own ingredients at another station, not for the guys but for me. There was no way I was eating anything Ava had touched. The comments flared again, confusion evident. Wait, what's happening? Why isn't she dumping it? She's supposed to toss it, lecture the heroine, and resentfully clean up the mess. That had been the plan. Not anymore. If the so-called heroes were willing to risk death, who was I to interfere? Freed from my interference, Ava began adding a bizarre assortment of ingredients to the soup. Chopped spinach, green peppers, weeds from the yard, plus seasonings, yogurt, orange juice, and even a can of Gatorade from the fridge. Within minutes, the once clear, fragrant broth had turned into a thick, brownish-green sludge. It looked like something that had been digested and violently regurgitated. But Ava, ever confident in her skills, saw only brilliance. As always, she called out to the 4 male leads with glee. Guys, I made chicken soup. Come and get it. Leo Nash, the rock star with the ever-earnest heart, was the first to arrive. Amazing, he exclaimed, his face lighting up. I'm starving. From day one, he had been head over heels for Ava, and after just 3 days of filming, he was utterly smitten. In the original script, he would have turned on me the moment I attempted noodles. Who wants noodles? I want the soup Ava made. How dare you toss it? We traded a truckload of corn for that chicken, and you just throw it away? Do you even call yourself a chef? I would have tried to explain the toilet cleaner mishap. Ava would have teared up immediately, glaring at me with hurt eyes. I only added a touch of white vinegar. Nina, why would you lie about me? Leo would have instantly believed her, shooting me a glare. You'll say anything to make her look bad. What did she ever do to you? But now? I hadn't discarded the soup. He had no reason to blame me. Ava puffed her chest out proudly. Of course. Not everyone gets a taste of my cooking. Most people wouldn't survive it, I thought. She reached for the pot, then yelped and jerked her hand back. Ow, hot. Caleb Sterling, the newly minted movie star, dashed over. You silly girl, he murmured, gently cradling her hand under the faucet, blowing on her fingertips. You can't just touch a pot that hot. Without even glancing at me, he ordered. Bring the soup out. And don't let Ava do dangerous things like this again. What if she gets hurt? Caleb's connection to Ava ran deep. 3 years prior, when he was a struggling actor caught in a nasty setup, he had collapsed outside our family restaurant. Ava, then just an apprentice, had handed him a bowl of noodles and a few kind words. Since then, he considered her a guardian angel, the one pure thing in his chaotic world. In the original storyline, he would have scowled at me. Nina, stop these pathetic games. I know what Ava is like. Better than you'll ever be. He'd have issued a warning. Do your job and stop with the tricks. Hurt Ava again, and you'll regret it. Remembering that scripted fate made me shiver. No thanks. I couldn't risk that. I dropped my spatula, switched off my burner, and adopted a meek, helpful tone. Right away. I'll get it. I said nothing about the toilet cleaner. I couldn't wait for them to try Ava's masterpiece. Then Mark, the field producer, panicked. Wait. Ava put toilet cleaner in the soup. And a bunch of other weird stuff. You can't eat it. I suppressed a smirk. So he could speak after all. In the original story, when the men accused me and I begged him to intervene, he denied seeing anything. Ava is like your junior, he'd said patronizingly. You don't have to be enemies. Don't take this so seriously. His words had sealed my fate, marking me as the liar. But now, he was revealing the truth. How would the heroes react? Unsurprisingly, they trusted only Ava. The soup reached the table. Mark, for daring to slander the adored heroine and offend 4 male leads, was immediately fired. He begged me to speak up, but I put on my most helpless, innocent expression. I don't know. I came in late. I didn't see it happen, I murmured. Glancing at Ava, I added, she's not dumb. Why would she put toilet cleaner in soup? Maybe you were mistaken. I believe her. Ava's voice trembled, perfectly wounded. I only used white vinegar. How could you accuse me like that, Mark? Mark demanded the cameras be checked, but with 4 A-listers pressuring the crew, no one cared to help him. He was swiftly escorted off the set. Later, I heard he was blacklisted from the industry, eventually taking a construction job where an accident left him with a broken leg. But that was a story for another time. For now, the men finally tried Ava's creation. My dishes? Untouched. Except by me, and surprisingly Ava. Nina worked so hard. She explained with grand self-righteousness. We can't let her food go to waste. If you won't eat it, I will. She spoke as though marching to her own execution, and the comments and male leads praised her beauty and kindness. Yet the men weren't as invincible as the commentary claimed. The moment the soup touched their lips, their handsome faces twisted in grotesque disgust. It turned out their stomachs weren't made of iron after all. That evening, all 4 were rushed to the county hospital to have their stomachs pumped. According to the floating commentary, in the original timeline, the same thing had happened. Initially, they'd refused my noodles. But after a long day of grueling farm chores, hunger forced them to eat, begrudgingly. They also drank a fruit and vegetable juice Ava had lovingly prepared. That juice? It was a disaster waiting to happen. Ava's ingredients: unwashed tomatoes, cucumbers, winter melon, carrots dug straight from the earth, dirt and all, lotus leaves plucked from a pond, and 2 live frogs that had somehow jumped into the blender. The combination of pesticides, fertilizer residue, and fresh frog essence was more than any human could reasonably endure. The fact they only suffered vomiting and diarrhea was a testament to their superhuman constitutions. Comments erupted. OMG, her cooking is so potent even the male leads can't handle it. LMAO, still our queen. 1 meal, and she sends a man to the ER. True love, y'all. No matter how bad it is, they eat anything she makes. Poor side character. Nobody touches her food. And she's supposed to inherit a famous restaurant? Her dad should just hand it to Ava instead. That last one made my blood boil. Give Ava the head chef title? Are you serious? Our restaurant serves the public. Ordinary people. They would literally die. Thankfully, there were still sane voices. Are you kidding? The restaurant belongs to the side character's family. Why give it to the heroine? If it were me, Ava would have been out years ago. Wasting food isn't cute. Exactly. With all 4 celebrities hospitalized, the director didn't want to delay filming. He assigned Ava and me a new task: prepare recovery meals for our ailing stars. The rules were simple. Whichever chef's meal they chose would earn the points. The one with the most points would become the next head chef. According to the comments, they'd obviously pick Ava. So, I had zero intention of competing. In fact, I was secretly curious to see them try a healthy meal crafted by Ava. By the time I arrived at the hospital with a soothing rice porridge, Ava was already there, crying. "It's all my fault," she sobbed. "My chicken soup put you here." Leo, who had eaten the most and was weakest after the pumping, struggled to sit up and brush away her tears. "It's not your fault. Your soup was delicious. My stomach is just weak." Kai Rivero, the aloof pop idol who turned shy around Ava, blushed as he tried to console her. Don't cry. Really, it wasn't your fault." Owen Davies, the suave TV host and one of Ava's online fans, spoke gently. "It was just a little heat stroke. Don't blame yourself." Ava blinked, tears thick in her voice. "Really?" Caleb, not wanting her attention to linger elsewhere, cut in. "Of course it's true. And besides, there was more than just your food on the table. How can you take all the blame?" "Ava, you're just too kind." "Beautiful. My own dishes had the power to injure from across the room, yet she got credit." Ava managed a watery smile. Comments were relentless. Quick-thinking hero, blaming someone else instantly. Rule number 1. The heroine is never wrong. Rule number 2. See rule number 1. True devotion. Side character breathes, he thinks, how dare she. Heroine breathes, he thinks, masterstroke. Writers, take note. I fought the urge to roll my eyes. Yes, please keep spoiling her. I plastered on my most obedient expression and timidly approached the beds. I said softly. "The doctor said you can have soft foods. I made some porridge. Would you like to try some?" The men, who had been gazing at Ava with such tenderness, immediately turned cold eyes toward me. Leo shot me a dismissive glare, then quickly looked back at Ava with hopeful anticipation. "Ava, what did you make?" "Just thinking about eating your cooking makes me feel better already." Caleb frowned. "I don't like porridge." Kai maintained his usual icy silence, refusing to even glance at me. Owen, at least, offered a sliver of politeness. "Thanks for making the effort, but I'd really prefer something Ava prepared herself." Inside, I was doing a quiet victory dance, but outwardly, I let my face drop in feigned disappointment. "Oh, okay then. Enjoy your meal. I'll just go." I grabbed my thermal container and practically bolted from the room, knowing that staying any longer could make me a scapegoat for whatever came next. Because Ava's nourishing fish soup was a masterpiece of chaos, a whole fish, scales and guts intact, simmered in an entire bottle of rubbing alcohol, spiced with 2 bottles of ghost pepper sauce, 5 tubes of wasabi, and, of course, a 16-ounce bottle of bleach she had mistaken for white vinegar. This was no longer food. It had transcended the bounds of human cuisine. I wasn't sticking around to see the aftermath. If I stayed, they'd somehow pin it on me. Even male leads, it seemed, were still human. I was midway through a solo interview when the ER doors burst open. Doctors and nurses rushed past me, frantically wheeling the 4 celebrities inside. They were foaming at the mouth, tinged with blood, a horrifying sight. The comments exploded. "Wait, isn't a side character supposed to accidentally knock over the heroine's container so the guys eat her porridge?" "What? They were supposed to leave tomorrow. Now they have chemical poisoning and bleeding. How will filming continue?" That had been the original plan. Knowing Ava's meal was lethal, I would have spilled it, forcing them to eat my porridge. They'd then accuse me of bullying Ava, leak a video online, and summon fan armies against me. By the time I realized what was happening, I would have been a public enemy. This time, I let them eat. They got Ava's healthy concoction just as they wished. Surely, no one could blame me for that. During my interview, the producer asked, "You must be frustrated that none of them touched your food." I nodded earnestly. A little, yes. But it also taught me something important. Not everyone will enjoy my cooking. It just means I have to keep improving to create meals more people will like. Comments immediately attacked. Such a fake. She's just pretending. Next question. Did I feel jealous of Ava? I shook my head. We've never walked the same path. I'm genuinely happy that people enjoy her cooking. That part was true. I even hoped the men would sample even more of her meals. Sending them to the hospital once wasn't enough. I was secretly hoping she'd aim even higher next time. Another comment. She sounds sweet, but she's dying of jealousy inside. Too bad. Girl, the guys will never touch your food.
Perfect.
I had no desire to cook for those four morons, anyway. Thankfully, a few voices defended me.
Some of you are insane.
Without the side character, the heroine would have already killed the male leads. And this is how they treat the one who saves them.
Yes.
Never eat the side character's food. You'd miss the thrill of living on the edge. Exactly my thoughts. The guy's condition was serious, at least 2 weeks in recovery. The director, finally grasping Ava's lethal potential, halted hospital filming. To prevent her from attempting to nurse them back to health, he sent us home to wait for further instructions. While Ava pitched a fit, insisting on staying to care for her men, I booked the earliest flight out. Seeing my parents, alive and well, finally grounded my anxious heart. Tears pricked my eyes. Mom? Dad? Oh, honey, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Mom rushed over and hugged me tightly. Did someone bully you on that ridiculous show? She turned toward the kitchen. Old Zhou, get out here. Your daughter's been bullied. Dad appeared immediately, spatula in hand.
Who?
Who dared to bully my little girl? They were so full of life, radiating warmth and the comforting scent of home-cooked food. According to the floating commentary, they were heading for disaster, trapped in a dark, cramped basement in less than 3 months, with no money for a proper burial. I had to act fast. I took a deep breath, pushing down my emotions. No one bullied me. I just missed you guys. Mom clutched her chest dramatically. Thank goodness. I was about to cash out our retirement to get you out of that contract. I laughed through my tears. Save it for yourselves. I spent the next 2 days soaking in the comfort of home, confirming that the strange comments only appeared when the main characters were present. Once I was ready, I told my parents everything. Mom, Dad, I know this sounds insane, but I need you to trust me. I can see things. And I need your help to stop a disaster. To their credit, even if the comments from the future seemed impossible, they trusted me completely. I laid out the entire plan. The next day, Ava, denied permission to play nurse at the hospital, stormed into the restaurant kitchen in a fit of frustration. Her solution, creative cooking, her usual coping mechanism. For her, it was therapy. For us, it was chaos. She tore through the kitchen like a whirlwind, destroying expensive ingredients while my dad trailed behind, grimacing in horror. That's a blue lobster from Brittany. You can't just toss it into the fire. Look, it's burnt to a crisp. The Alba truffles. You're frying them like chips. But wait, who brought laundry detergent in here? What are you doing to that yellow croaker? Let it go. And put down the foie gras. Ava, please, he begged. If you're upset, go shopping. Don't take it out on the food. This is real money. She ignored him completely, weaving through stations, absorbed in her own creative storm. A pinch here, a splash there. Every dish she touched was ruined instantly. Service ground to a halt. My mom and I spent the evening apologizing to furious diners. In just a few days, business dropped nearly 80%, and over $10,000 of ingredients went to waste. Every moment was captured in crystal-clear footage from the security cameras I'd recently installed. When Ava later cried to the world about being mistreated or enslaved, we would have hard evidence to counter her claims. 2 weeks later, filming resumed. Ava was ecstatic to see her men and immediately announced she would cook them a grand feast to welcome them back. I've created so many new recipes, just for you. The 4 men froze for a brief second, but their devotion quickly overrode common sense and lingering trauma. The director finally intervened. From now on, Nina will handle all the cooking, he said firmly. Ava, you don't need to worry. He looked at me. It'll be tough, but we're counting on you. I hesitated, thinking of a polite way to refuse, but Ava was already pouting, eyes brimming with tears. But you said the chef whose meal was more popular would be the next head chef, she whined. Mine won, right? Why can't I be the chef? Her gaze darted between me and the director. A look of dawning realization crossed her face. Oh, I get it. You're biased. She must have charmed you. Director, wake up. Nina would never be interested in someone like you. She's just playing you. I stared at her, stunned. I had always dismissed her as naive, bordering on foolish. Her thoughtless words were part of her character type. But now, she had said something deliberately cruel. The potential online uproar sent a chill down my spine. For the first time since seeing the plot, I forgot she was the heroine. My voice turned cold. Ava, do you understand what you're saying? Leo immediately stepped in, shielding her. What's your problem? She was joking. If you're innocent, what's there to fear? Ava avoided my gaze, petulant. The director is biased. Why give Nina the head chef position? I want to be the chef. The director, now furious, looked at her in disbelief. You dare say that? If it weren't for your cooking, they'd have been hospitalized for 2 weeks. Production stopped because of you. You want to be head chef? Would you even dare to eat the food you make? That's enough. Caleb shouted, refusing to let anyone disparage his cherished heroine. It's not your place to criticize her cooking. Owen's expression turned stern. The rule was that the head chef is chosen by vote. To override it like this seems improper, don't you think? He then fixed his gaze on me, eyes sharp with warning. What's your take, Ms. Zhou? I knew the director was correct, but could I admit that? Of course not. I shrank back, trying to appear meek. I accept the results of the challenge. I'll follow whatever the production team decides. He seemed dissatisfied but couldn't find a flaw in my response. Leo, never one to stay calm, jabbed a finger at the director. Who do you think you are? Have you even tasted Ava's cooking? What right do you have to speak like that? Kai didn't say a word, but the murderous glare he shot the director made the point clear. The director looked completely baffled. He couldn't understand how attempting to safeguard the cast's health had turned him into the villain. I gave him a sympathetic glance. The floating comments had warned me. In the original script, this was the episode where the director, exasperated by Ava's reckless antics and ruined ingredients, appointed me sole chef. For that mistake, he'd been replaced and blacklisted. Seeing him ready to argue further, I quickly interrupted, desperate to get his attention. Director, Ava's right. I lost the recovery meal challenge. I don't deserve to be head chef this week. His eyes met mine, confusion flickering into understanding. Right, he said reluctantly. We'll stick to the original rules and let things play out. And just like that, Ava got what she wanted. She became head chef. She celebrated by pulling the 4 men into a group hug, announcing she would accompany them on the day's tasks. While they were lost in their little world, I slipped away to find the director. Director, I whispered, let's make a deal. His eyes widened. I'm married. A professional deal. I clarified quickly. From then on, I became a background character, a shadow trailing behind the main cast on their assignments. Task 1, help a local farmer harvest chives. Ava, leading her 4 champions, charged straight into a field of wheat. Attack, she declared heroically. Without hesitation, the men hacked away. I called weakly from behind, that's wheat, not chives. You can't just. Ava ignored me, and the men bristled. If Ava says it's chives. Your opinion doesn't matter. They turned a harvest into a game, destroying the crop. I had no choice but to run to the farmer. Task 2. Herd a flock of sheep. Ava ignored the map entirely, steering the sheep straight into a marsh. Be careful. There's a swamp ahead, I shouted. One of them snapped. Ava can go wherever she wants. We don't need your warnings. Once again, I sprinted to prevent disaster. Task 3. Water the vegetable garden. The 4 turned the hoses on each other, drenching the seedlings in a full-blown water fight. Stop. You'll ruin the plants, I shouted. Shut up. All that matters is that Ava's having fun, they replied. Half the garden ended up destroyed. Throughout it all, I offered weak verbal warnings while the director kept the cameras rolling. Finally, the villagers, fed up with the chaos, gathered to eject the cast. The production team intervened, paying compensation to smooth things over and continue filming. At last, it was Ava's favorite moment, cooking. As her sous chef, I was there to assist. When she tossed an egg, still covered in chicken droppings, into a hot wok, I reminded her, you need to crack the shell first. She blinked, confused. Huh? What do you mean? She proceeded to throw in chunks of kiwi and mango, then half a box of powdered laundry detergent. As she stirred, the wok bubbled with a strange, colorful foam. I pretended to be shocked, loud enough for the cameras to catch it. Ava, you cannot put laundry detergent in food. You have to throw that out. It is not edible. She paused, then lied, as if nothing were wrong. Nina, what are you talking about? That is not laundry detergent, it is just salt. The box screamed laundry detergent in huge letters. Was she seriously claiming she could not read? I noticed the cameraman's hand tremble as he eased in for a close-up of the foamy fruit and egg mess bubbling in the wok. I kept my calm act going, offering a steady stream of comments at her side, pointing out what was unsafe, what was inedible. Her face grew darker and darker with every word. The breaking point came when she dropped an uncleaned pufferfish into a pot of boiling water and followed it with a generous pour from a bleach bottle. I gasped, alarmed. Ava, pufferfish is toxic unless it's prepared by a trained professional. You have to take that out. You cannot serve that, and you cannot add bleach. That can kill someone. Something snapped inside her. She slammed the spatula down and dissolved into tears. Nina, I am the head chef this week. Why do you keep undermining me? Why do you always say I am wrong? She wailed. Everything I do, you pick at it. Why are you being so mean? The comments appeared like ghosts, buzzing around us. Here we go. The 4 avenging boyfriends are about to storm the kitchen. I get this. I hate when someone hovers and criticizes every little thing I do. Don't cry, Ava. Your heroes are coming to save you. A second later, the 4 men swept into the kitchen like a storm. Caleb wrapped the sobbing Ava in his arms. Leo shoved me so hard I stumbled to the floor. Kai landed a sharp kick to my ribs, and Owen smirked, voice low and dangerous. You really don't learn, do you? Now, what punishment should she get this time? Caleb's tone was a low growl. You made Ava cry. You will pay for that. I lay on the floor, hissing between performances of pain and fright. No, you do not understand. I was not bullying her. I was trying to tell her the pufferfish is poisonous, and she added detergent and bleach. You cannot eat that. I was just... Leo cut me off, cold. Ava can do whatever she wants. It is none of your business. I tried to continue, to get them to realize. Listen, her pufferfish is not cleaned properly. It is toxic, and she mixed detergent and bleach into the food. You cannot eat any of it. I was warning you. Ava's crying escalated. Fine, I will stop filming. You can have the head chef spot. Is that what you want? You do not have to lie and slander me like this. She pretended to run away, but Caleb held her, murmuring soothing words. You are not the one who should go. Kai turned his icy glare on me.
You.
Get out. I opened my mouth, but Leo seized my shirt, dragged me outside, and threw me onto the dirt. I told you to get out. Did you not hear me? He spat. I do not care whether Ava's food is edible. All I know is your food, and you both make me sick. The director, unable to stand it any longer, rushed out to help me up. That is enough, he yelled, trying to defend me. She is not lying. It was Ava who...
Caleb snapped like a whip.
Say one more word for her, and I will make sure you are off this show too. The director went pale and fell silent, slipping me a tiny hand signal that said we understood. I decided my acting was complete. I matched Ava's earlier show of tears and fled, the cameraman trailing to get the shot. As I left, the comments flashed with alarm. Wait, why is she leaving? Is she supposed to stay and find a way to throw out the heroine's food? If she leaves, what happens to the guys? This time the food is truly deadly. So now they knew, finally, that Ava's cooking was lethal. In the original plot, I would have knocked over Ava's containers, physically removed her from the kitchen, and cooked a new meal from the remaining ingredients. After eating mine, the men would have staged food poisoning to avenge their darling, marched to the hospital, and then publicly accused me of causing it. They would have leaked a clip of me spilling the food to gossip sites, mobilized their fan armies, and turned me into a target. They would not have stopped at online abuse. Fans would have harassed my family's restaurant, filed complaints, harangued customers, and even tried to sue over allergens. Following that plan, my parents would have lost everything: retirement funds, restaurant, house, car, left to survive in a cramped, damp basement. The thought of that grim future pressed down on me like a stone. I had to stop it by any means necessary. On the show, under the guise of getting even for Ava, the men would have made my life a living nightmare. They would have shoved me into manure pits, forced me to eat Ava's lethal creations while insisting they were delicious, all the while enjoying my misery with icy detachment. Having lost everything, I would have snapped, transformed into a bitter, vengeful caricature, but as the designated villain, any attempt at payback would backfire spectacularly. My sole role was to be the punching bag, the antagonist, until the very end. I had no interest in being pushed into a pit, forced to eat toxic food, or losing my parents while turning into some tragic, insane figure. So I had worked with the director in advance. We gathered undeniable proof that I had warned the men repeatedly, establishing my moral high ground. And then, I stepped aside. I let them have what they wanted. They wanted Ava's cooking. I was happy to oblige. Even some of the comments seemed to get it. LMAO, yes. The guys get to eat the heroine's food again. Who's betting on how fast they'll keel over this time? Respect the side character, she gets it. Let people have their destiny, and enjoy your own stress-free life. Less than 20 minutes after dinner, chaos erupted. One by one, the men began vomiting violently, collapsing simultaneously to the floor. The scene was catastrophic. This time, it wasn't a minor inconvenience. I later heard they were rushed into emergency surgery and barely survived the night. Caleb and Kai suffered acute kidney failure and were admitted to the city hospital's ICU. Leo endured neurological damage. His facial muscles twitched uncontrollably, his speech slurred, and motor control was compromised. Owen fared somewhat better, though he lost control of his bladder and bowels. News of 4 A-list stars in critical condition went viral instantly. Fans flooded the show's social media accounts, demanding answers. Under pressure, the production team released a few key clips and a statement. They insisted on eating it. There was nothing we could do. The videos left no ambiguity. Ava had added every dangerous ingredient despite repeated warnings, and the 4 men had defended her actions, insisting on consuming the food. The public outrage was swift. Unable to direct their anger at their idols, fans turned on Ava. It got worse. Authorities received reports of malicious poisoning, backed by video evidence. That very day, Ava was taken into custody. The comment section erupted in disbelief. Wait, what? The heroine got arrested? She's supposed to be sweet and clueless. How is this her fault? A reply quickly corrected them. Sweet and clueless doesn't cover this. A clueless person doesn't mistake laundry detergent for salt, bleach for vinegar, or serve pufferfish without proper preparation. She ignored repeated, explicit warnings. This is intentional. The male leads are supposed to be invincible. Why are they in ICU? Aren't they supposed to protect her? I can't believe the side character just let this happen. If she hadn't, none of this would have occurred. I laughed aloud for the first time in days. If nothing had happened to them, I said to the empty room, then everything would have happened to me. I smiled, feeling a strange thrill of satisfaction. And I owe all of you thanks. Without those comments, I'd be the one paying the price right now. The comment section erupted one last time, then glitched and vanished completely. They never returned. Immediately after Ava's arrest, the production company terminated her contract and pledged full cooperation with the investigation. In the original story, it would have been me who was fired. Only the director had changed, and that had made all the difference. Ava may have been the beloved heroine, but even with her plot armor, her luck had finally run out. And despite everything she had done, her men didn't place the blame anywhere else. The moment they woke in the hospital and learned Ava had been arrested and fired, the 4 men immediately went public with statements of forgiveness and support for her. But that wasn't enough. They also tried to drag me into the fray. Caleb Sterling, my hospitalization has nothing to do with Ava and certainly nothing to do with the show. Any fans attacking her, unfollow me immediately. At Heartland Harvest, if she goes, I go. Kai Rivero, I will not allow anyone to slander Ava. Not the show, not you. At Heartland Harvest, I stand with Ava. Owen Davies, to my fans, please stay rational. Ava is sweet and innocent. My hospital stay is unrelated. Don't follow the mob. At Heartland Harvest, a show that betrays its cast is not one I wish to join. Leo Nash, so what? I like Ava's cooking. I like hanging out with her. Problem? At Heartland Harvest. Want to terminate a contract? Start with mine. Then came the subtle attempt to shift blame onto me. Leo Nash, there was more than one chef. Ava's food was fine. The other ones? I always felt sick after eating her dishes. Caleb Sterling, I've known Ava for 3 years. The Zhou family treated her like a servant. On the show, she was controlled and put down by Nina Zhou. Ava wasn't free. The one to blame is Nina, not her. Kai Rivero, Ava shouldn't be the scapegoat. Owen Davies, Ava's life hasn't been easy. She deserves to be cherished. But their plan faltered. Just as their accusations gained traction, the show released more footage. Me, humbly warning them in the kitchen only to be shoved and threatened, and them gleefully destroying villagers' crops under Ava's direction. The director added a statement. Nina Zhou is kind and an excellent chef. Our collaboration was difficult for reasons beyond her control. I hope to work with her again. I also posted my own clips on social media, along with proof of my family's support for Ava and records of her apprenticeship and salary. My caption was simple. I'm just a chef. I want to cook. Please leave me out of this. And to Ava, you said life as a servant was hard. Consider your wish granted. You don't have to return. The public, and even most of the men's fans, were stunned. This makes my blood boil. For grown men bullying a young woman? Do they have no shame? Nina stayed silent after being treated like that on camera. That shows how powerful these four really are. At City Police, isn't this criminal behavior? I won't even talk about Ava. The Zhou family must have had the worst luck to know her. 10 years sponsored, guaranteed job, room and board. Paid for cooking? That's hard. If they act like this on camera, imagine what Nina went through behind the scenes. Fans, open your eyes. Overnight, the four celebrities lost nearly 2/3 of their fanbase. The production company struck the final blow. Since you all want to terminate your contracts, consider them terminated. Prepare to pay breach of contract fees. The men were stunned. This was not how things were supposed to go. They had grown so accustomed to being the heroes of their own story that they assumed a simple threat could bend the world to their will. But they had forgotten one crucial detail. Before, their actions were only visible to the readers of their story. Now, the real world was watching. Here, they weren't invincible male leads. They were just celebrities. And a celebrity, without the support of their fans, is nothing. As the hate mounted and their follower counts plummeted, panic set in. For the first time, they humbled themselves and contacted the production team, offering to continue filming on the condition that the videos be deleted and Ava's contract reinstated. The response from the show's investors and producers was blunt. We don't want Ava. And we really don't want you. And we mean it. They backpedaled, trying to save face, insisting it was fine to fire Ava and that they would still fulfill their contracts. So I thought, in the face of financial ruin, the heroine isn't so important after all. But the production company was done. You are currently unable to care for yourselves. You are in no condition to continue filming. We suggest you focus on your recovery. The reality of their situation finally dawned on them. Their bodies were ruined. The depth of their horror was matched only by the height of my joy. The restaurant was safe. My parents were safe. I wouldn't lose my family. I wouldn't have to become the bitter, evil villain.
It was a very good day.
I saw Ava again 3 months later. She fell to her knees in front of my parents and me, begging us to take her back. After being fired from the show, the male leads had lost all their endorsements and projects. Even their management agencies had dropped them. After paying massive contract penalties, they were all deeply in debt. Having lost everything, they channeled all their misfortune into blaming one person, Ava. They sued her, giving her an ultimatum: either pay for their medical bills and lost income, or be their caretaker for life. Unwilling to go to jail, Ava agreed to move in with them. She alone was responsible for caring for all 4 disabled men, covering all their expenses. She needed a job, but who would hire someone with no discernible life skills? So she thought of us. Master Zhou, Mrs. Zhou, Nina, she cried, clutching at my dad's pants. Please, I'm begging you, let me work at the restaurant again. I'll be good, I promise. I'll never mess around with the food again. A strange thought struck me. So, you knew you were messing around? She flinched, eyes darting away, then changed the subject. Master, ma'am, please help me. I really need a job right now. I'll do anything, I swear. I quickly pulled my parents back. A chilling thought struck me. I had always assumed her cluelessness was a character trait assigned by the author. But her reaction just now made me wonder. Maybe she wasn't clueless at all. I didn't dare follow that thought any further. I'm sorry, I said, my voice firm. We don't need a servant. And our restaurant certainly doesn't need a black hole of culinary destruction who only wastes ingredients. You should go. From now on, you're on your own. I hadn't taken revenge on her for my scripted fate. I had simply stood back and let events unfold. That was mercy enough. Her ending was one of her own making. She got up, expression dazed, and wandered away, muttering to herself. I caught a faint whisper on the wind. No, that's not how it's supposed to happen. But wasn't it? The ending was exactly as the story foretold. She ended up with all 4 men. The happily ever after part was just a minor detail.